point of emphasis for the day will be the front of the ring, into our power position. What we have done here is I have rigged anchored a band to a lamppost or wherever it is. You can do it to a rack, however it is. And I've attached it to my right knee. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to focus on my power position for the day. I'm going to find my separation to my upper body and allow the coordination, timing, and balance take over from my lower body. So I want to work into the band until my right foot is facing field. I need to keep focusing on posture, bringing the hip forward, and then making sure everything's in line from my ankle, knee, hip, and so my shoulder is now on top of that right foot at the finish. So what I've done now is we'll transition to the block leg. Since I'm a righty, it's my left leg. So what I'm trying to think about is feel the ground with my heel. Feel the ground with my heel and making sure that this left hip is stable when I get into my power at the finish, because I don't want a soft left knee. I don't want it transferring over to the left leg by bending it. So I want to make sure that at my finish, I have a very strong and balanced power position. And the emphasis for this is not only the extension from my knee to flex the left quad, but it's also to push back my left hip, which will then propel my right hip forward. So I'm thinking of catapulting, making sure that right side is active from a different perspective, keeping the right side active, which will then bring the left heel down. So I'm going through a couple getting the heel, slapping the heel to the ground. Right side is then taking over, get that heel to the ground. It's all while keeping my ankle, knee, hip in alignment to where I can keep this shot put or discus back behind the right side, and making sure that I just go over and over and over, just rep after rep, not really thinking of emphasizing anything from the upper body, just getting the idea of timing, coordination, and balance into my power position. So one thing that I've started playing with is the half turn coming from this perspective. So I'll set it up. My hips are now skate with that idea of rotation in mind, still keeping shoulder, knee, hip, ankle all in alignment, rotating backwards. So it's going to give me assistance in my first 90-degree turn, and then it will give me resistance when I get to the field, when I try to get my right foot to the field. So I'm thinking keeping my upper body nice and separated, keeping that idea of all the way through to the power position, and then, as we've said before, rep after rep. I'm really emphasizing here pushing my hip forward, just so I can stay even more so stacked on top of my right hip. I'm pushing my right knee forward to keep this idea of a soft right hip, because on landing, I've noticed sometimes that when people land, they're either reaching their right foot to the middle, or they're landing stiff into the middle with the right side. So what we're trying to think of right now is very soft right hip, allowing the left foot to travel out and around and then land in a solid power position, making sure that even we understand what balance is, because I want to go backwards. So as long as I can stay in this idea from the start of my half to the finish of my half and back, then I was constantly emphasizing the idea of staying on my right side. I don't want that side to move. I don't want that shoulder to move away, forward, pulling over left side or anything like that. So I want to I'm really emphasizing that for today. So pushing me forward, making sure everything